Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this segment of Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Jack Teal, the Parks and Recreation Manager here at the City of Cottonwood, and today it's my pleasure to do this segment with Josh Fruin, our Aquatics and Special Events Coordinator, and our newest member of our team, Samantha, who is our new Recreation Coordinator for Youth Programs. Good afternoon, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well, thank you. Good. Well, glad to have you. We got a lot of things we're going to cover today. May is National Water Safety Awareness Month, and Josh, you being the Aquatics Coordinator with the City of Cottonwood, have a huge role in the water safety in all of our programs and getting that information out to the community. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about our outdoor pool opening. I know a lot of the members of the community are interested in that, so we're going to talk about that coming up. And then a couple of other things we have to offer in the aquatics world. So with May being Water Safety Awareness Month, let's start off with swim lessons. What are we doing with swim lessons this year?
Yeah, definitely. So we're excited to have our swim lessons back this year. You can register online at cottonwoodaz.gov for all those swim lessons. We have this handy little guide that you can pick up at the rec center. That's all of our aquatics information in there. So for the swim lessons, movies, aerobics, all those different kind of things. So for our swim lessons, those start on June 7th as our first session. Each session, as you can see on your screen, is 2 weeks long. We have levels 1 all the way up to level 4 for the different classes, as well as a parent and taught class that we're excited to bring back as well.
Yeah. So we have a lot, and when we start talking about water safety, our Learn to Swim program is one of the key components. Typically, you told me we have about 500 kids this summer. How are we looking so far this year?
Yeah, we've been same. We're on that same track to hit a high number of kids, trying to offer as many of those classes as we can to be sure that everyone that wants to take a Learn to Swim class has the opportunity, and we'll make that happen for them. So this year as well, we have classes in the morning as well as some in the evening to accommodate those that weren't able to do the morning classes and really try and make it work for everyone.
Yeah, and the evening time, I want to touch on that real quick because the evening times used to be offered between 4 and 5. What did we do this year to make it a little bit easier for those families who are working that 9 to 5 to be able to get their kids into the program?
Sure. So we bumped those swim lesson times in the evening back to 5 to 6, which will help get those kids there that weren't able to do it at the other times. So hopefully that helps a lot of families out there, and those have been one of our most popular times already with people booking the swim lessons.
Absolutely. And so I've been lifeguarding in the aquatics world since 2004. I started working with the Parks and Recreation Department as a lifeguard, so I've been in that outdoor pool for years and years and years, and we always open up on Memorial Weekend. Is that the same case this year? Are we opening up? What day are we opening that outdoor facility?
Yeah, Memorial Day will be our first day open, so that'll be Monday, May 31st. We'll have the outdoor pool open as well as our indoor pool. So that's the first day. Bring your family out and be a fun day.
Yeah, and that schedule, it had remained the same for many, many years, but we got some changes to it this year. We went to a more kid-friendly schedule. Talk about the differences in our water aerobics classes and our morning lap swim classes, the time change in those. I know the aerobics starts at 10:30 now?
Yes. So we have our water aerobics class that'll be Monday through Friday from 10:30 to 11:30. Linda teaches that, and that's our Silver Sneakers water aerobics class there. As well as our indoor pool, we have water aerobics Monday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. And Karen is our teacher for that. She calls it Pool Party and makes it a little fun class in there. They do a lot of different things. So that's one of our additions. We have a little bit different lap swim times in there. Also, if you just pick up this guide, it has our full calendar in there so you can have it handy. And then every day from 12:30 to 4, we have our open swim. That's when all the public can come and use the pool as well there.
Absolutely, and I know we had planned to go live with this new schedule last year, and then COVID happened and it put everything back, so we had to adjust our schedules last year. But when we were looking at this, we had changed our lap swim times, and correct me if I get off base here, but it used to be from 11 to noon, and now it's 11:30 to 12:30 to allow for that strict solid hour of lap swimming that doesn't have to overlap with the aerobics class. So each group gets their own dedicated times now in the pool, which is a huge thing. And then we also added a lot of other lap swimming lanes throughout the day, right?
Yeah, definitely.
In the evening times, we offered, you can now come swim at 4 o'clock. You get half the lanes at 4 and half the lanes at 5. Is that how that works?
So even in the morning, for our lap swim time in the morning as well, it's 10:30 to 12:30. Part of that, the water aerobics class will take up some of the lanes, and we'll have a few extra lanes there for the lap swimmers for those that want that extra time. And then in the evening, we have the lap swim from 4 to 6. So another 2-hour gap in
Nice.
that evening for people as well.
And then in addition to the lane, we have available all day for the lap swimmers who'd like to come in during rec swim. So we really did a lot, and aquatics is a huge part of what Parks and Recreation does, and it's not always just rec swim. We got a couple programs in there too. So I heard something about movies. You talked about some movies earlier.
Definitely. So we have our dive-in movie program that we'll be doing in the summer as well. So one movie each month that we'll be putting on in the outdoor pool. So our first one there, as you can see on the screen, is June 26th, and we'll be showing the movie Doolittle. These movies are all free to the public, free for everyone to come in. So just bring your family. Gates open at 7:45, and then the movie begins at dark. We'll put on a movie, come float in the pool, and swim around, have a good time.
Absolutely. So pools are fun. It gets hot here. Hot out here in Cottonwood during the summer. So if you guys are looking for an opportunity to cool off, come out, see us at the Cottonwood Recreation Center. We have our indoor facility and we have our outdoor facility. Both will be going on the 31st. And if you're looking for programs or opportunities to get involved, pick up one of our aquatics guide and talk to us, see what we can do to get you out there. We'll have a lot of things going on. Josh, real quick, when we start talking about water safety, what's something that's really important? Should we ever be swimming by ourselves, or what are some things we can do to stay safe when we're in, on, or around water?
Definitely. So never should swim by yourself. Always should have someone else there. Even if you're the best swimmer in the world, things can happen. So always have someone else there, especially with your kids. Be there always with your eyes on the kids. It can take 1 second for a kid to slip underwater. Accidents happen all the time like that. So we have our different water safety tips that we've been promoting this year out on Facebook, especially this month, and rules that we should always be following, but ones we're really trying to push to the public out this month.
That's right. And we are humongous proponents of water safety, so make sure you hop on, follow our Facebook page for all these water safety tips this year. Josh, thank you for covering the aquatic side. We're going to come back to you here in a little bit and talk some more about the programming and the aquatic side. But as we go into our break, we're looking really forward to catching up with Samantha in our next segment and introducing her to the community of Cottonwood. So make sure you tune back in here in a couple minutes after this break, and we'll see you right back here.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Hey, welcome back, Cottonwood. I'm your host, Jack Teal, Parks and Recreation Manager for this episode of Inside Cottonwood. I am thrilled to invite Samantha, our new Recreation Coordinator for Youth Programs, to the set with us today. She just started this week and came all the way from Chicago, so we are super excited to get Samantha on board. We went through that interview process a few months ago, and well, we finally got her here to Cottonwood, so congratulations and welcome, Samantha.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So when we were going through the interview process, a couple things stood out about you and a couple of the reasons we had selected you. You have a pretty extensive background working with youth, specifically in the Boy Scout area. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started to attend camp when I was 14, which was the family portion of a Boy Scout camp that I went to. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I never did anything with the outdoors or any kind of camp programming before that. And then so I did that for a couple years, and I started working there when I was 18, and I did that for a little over 10 years, just kind of working my way through all the different variations of the camp program. And I mean, like I said, it helped me grow into being like a very more extroverted than I ever used to be as a kid. And so I just wanted to continue doing that and helping kids do the same thing with the programs today. So
nice.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a lot of fun out there doing the outdoor stuff.
Oh, it's absolutely. Yeah, it's a big
fit.
reason to come to Arizona,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's a great fit for Northern Arizona and our climate and everything we have going out here. So being the youth programs coordinator here with the City of Cottonwood, you're going to be doing a lot of different things, running our summer camp, our after school programs, things like that. What are you really looking forward to here in your new role?
I think just a change of environment is a really big thing. I think that there's a lot of diversity here compared to, well, there's a lot of diversity everywhere, right? But it's just a completely different environment. It's being able to work with different resources, different communities, just being able to take the knowledge that you've built throughout the years and being able to apply that into a completely different part of the country. It's just really exciting. So I think that that's what I'm mostly looking forward to, is just kind of challenging myself in that regard. So
it certainly is going to be a lot of challenges right here in Cottonwood. It's never a dull moment working with those kids down there in our youth programs. And speaking of that, we've got our summer camps open for registration right now, right? The first camp, starts June 1?
June 1.
Yeah, June 1.
We're hitting the ground running.
Hitting the ground running. You're here 2 weeks before you jump into this role. And I know Julia and your predecessor for this program, Kayla, really left us a good groundwork on how we need to do some things. But yeah, to come right in and take this role is going to be exciting.
It's not a dull moment so far. So no, it's been very exciting, and the fact that it's starting so soon is going to be really well. I think it's going to go great. So
yeah, I think so too. We have all the faith in the world in you and the programming abilities there. So you talked a little bit about your experience working in the Boy Scouts before. We've touched on the summer camps here, but what's your background in education? Where'd you go to school? What was it in? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to Ferris State University, which is in Big Rapids, Michigan, and I graduated with a degree in recreation and leisure services management. So it's kind of awesome because everything that I've kind of done since a kid, whether it's, leisure-wise or work-wise, has kind of always led up to this, and everything has always been within the recreation field. So I have a lot that I want to contribute, and now's the time to do it. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so coming from Chicago into Cottonwood, I like our pizza here personally. I can't speak to what Chicago's pizza is, but what has been one of the biggest differences for you, knowing you haven't gone through a winter here? I'm sure that's going to be one of the bigger differences for you. But
biggest difference, I think it's just you can't go unrecognized. I think that anywhere you go, somebody's going to recognize you from somewhere, or know your face, and it's very different from coming from a large city to a smaller town in that regard. But it's a learning experience, is what it is. But it's been like the best kind. So
yeah. Well, good. We're super excited for you. Super excited to have you on our episode of Inside Cottonwood. And in our last couple minutes in this segment, what is kind of your hope for the youth programs this summer? What are you hoping to get from that program?
Honestly, I would love to draw in more kids, and I'd like to learn the area. Networking is really important to me. So kind of networking with our local businesses and communities to just offer unique programs that really just change up the game a little bit. So just getting to know people and just seeing how we can, incorporate that into our program to help benefit the kids in the area. So
yeah. And when we were touring the facility the other day, when I was taking you around, I showed you the art room at the youth center, and you kind of got excited. You said something about being a crafting nut or something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that I brought more craft supplies with me than clothes. So I'm definitely excited to see, what we can kind of incorporate there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really exciting stuff. Well, like we mentioned, the registration for that is open. You can go online at cottonwoodaz.gov, click on the Parks and Recreation tab, and we have all the registration stuff there. Or you can come see us in person. Meet us at the Recreation Center. Get an opportunity to meet Samantha in advance. You have that information on your screen. So make sure you get involved, get enrolled. We got a couple other things going on. I know you're not fully involved in it yet, but we have Missoula Children's Theater. Talk to us just a little bit about that. We're looking for June 21st 21st through the 26th?
June 21st to the 25th would be rehearsals. They're a traveling theater company that is going to come into Cottonwood and just be able to have the Cottonwood and local youth be able to be a part of the play itself. The Emperor's New Clothes is the theme for this year. So June 21st to the 25th would be rehearsals, and then June 26th would be the actual play date. So it should be really exciting, and it's cool that we get to have like local youth incorporated into that. So yeah, more details to come.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun, and they just got a chance to see the flyer you designed with the cool QR code, so you can just scan that code. It'll take you right to the site, but if not, you can hop on cottonwoodaz.gov, go to the Parks and Recreation page, and we'll have that open enrollment there. And my favorite part is it is free to participate.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you want, just sign on up, get those kiddos enrolled, and have a good time this summer. Samantha, we are super excited to have you. Welcome to the city of Cottonwood. We got a lot of other introductions, but thank you for being here.
Thanks.
As we go to break on this next segment, we're going to come back and touch base with Josh and Samantha about some other programs we have coming up here in these next few months, and talk about all things Parks and Recreation. So make sure you tune back in here. I'm your host, Jack Teal, and we'll see you in a minute.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness. When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Welcome back, Cottonwood. I'm your host for this segment of Inside Cottonwood, Jack Teal, your Parks and Recreation Manager. We've had an opportunity to talk about water safety. May is National Water Safety Awareness Month. We've had an opportunity to introduce Samantha to the city of Cottonwood and talk about some of the youth programs. But those are just two of the functions that Parks and Recreation does, right, Josh? Your role specifically is a little unique because you do special events and aquatics. I always have to catch myself. I still want to call you sports and special events. So special events and aquatics. And when we start talking about special events in Parks and Recreation, what are some of the other ones we have coming on that maybe most people don't realize that our department does?
Sure. So we have quite a few coming up, actually. So June 12th is our Cottonwood Vintage Run. Formerly was known as the Brian Mickelson Memorial Run that we had for years. Transitioned to the Cottonwood Vintage Run this year, and it'll take place on June 12th. You can go on runcottonwood.com for all the details on that and to register. We've had lots of people on there registering already, and hopefully can continue that. Looking forward to that. Be a great event. So that's our first one, June 12th. The following week, right after that, we have Daddy-Daughter Date Night on June 18th. So keep checking our cottonwoodaz.gov website, as well as our Facebook page for all the details and registration for that coming up too.
Yeah, and so I want to circle back to Cottonwood Vintage Run real quick on this one. Cottonwood Vintage Run, how many different race distances do we have there?
Definitely. So we have a half marathon, 10K, 5K, and 2 mile. So there's really something for everyone. If you want to get out there and really run the 13 miles, can do our half marathon. It's a beautiful route that goes all the way from Riverfront Park up to Toosie down into Dead Horse Ranch and around the lagoons and back over to Riverfront. And then we have our 10K, 5K, and 2 mile that are all little different courses there as well that all have some scenery, some trail. Good time.
Absolutely. And our half marathon course has got to be hands down the prettiest course in all of Arizona. If you haven't had an opportunity to do it, I strongly encourage you to do it. That race is starting at 6 a.m. this year, right? Usually this race is in April. Due to some of the circumstances surrounding COVID and things like that, we had to push that race date a little bit to June. And so normally our race that would start at 8, we're starting at 6, so it's a little bit earlier, but we're doing it to make sure people are getting in there there in the cooler times of the day, not running all day.
Yep.
And one of my favorite things about the race is how many different organizations or different places we run through. So for the half marathon, we work with Clarkdale. We work with Tuesday Gate to run through the National Monument. What other race can you do to where you can say you run through a national monument? Few and far in between. So
definitely
one of the biggest things. And then Dead Horse Ranch State Park and Tuesday Gate Marsh, like some of the prettiest landscapes in Arizona, and our race goes through all of them. And then we changed some of our races now to incorporate our newest trail. How's that work, and what do we do there?
Oh, definitely. So if you haven't been, we have a new riverfront trail that goes from 10th Street and connects all the way down into Old Town Cottonwood, kind of right behind the dog park area. And it's a beautiful new trail, nice and smooth, and just recently was completed, had the ribbon cutting ceremony about a month ago. So we're incorporating that on the race as well. That'll really make it nice little addition there.
Yeah, and it helps a couple areas here. Our race starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, to run back on Main Street how we did before, we'd have to do a parade-style closure, and knowing that those businesses in Old Town open up at 6 o'clock for breakfast, we really didn't want to shut down the business flow. So running through Riverfront Trail, it incorporates our trails, which is a humongous strategy right now within the city of Cottonwood. And then it also helps our business partners be able to open up on time, and we don't put any burden on them. And then we connect into the Gel Trail, which runs right along the Verde River. If you're not signed up for this race, we have distances for everybody. There's times for everybody. Hop on and get registered. RunCottonwood.com. Even if it's just the community aspect, getting out and exercising. We have a 2-mile run. Starts at Riverfront, goes around the Dead Horse Ranch State Park, little ranger station, and then right back. And that one's completely on the street, right? So you don't even have to worry. You can stay on the sidewalk the entire time of that race. Our 10K is another fun one that runs through there, and then we've got one hill in that one that's challenging.
Nice little climb in there, but.
And Josh, you're a runner. You run all over the state. You've done super long races, like 50-mile races and things like that. Kudos to you. I happen to think you're crazy, but kudos to you. How do our races compare with those other ones?
We definitely have some of the most beautiful courses around, especially on that half marathon course, like you said, getting to run through the national monuments and things like that. Our races are right up there with some of the best ones in Arizona.
Yeah, and everybody gets finisher medal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the finisher medals are really cool. Not that I designed them or anything, but I mean, they're pretty cool. I'm proud of them.
Definitely. Finisher medals, T-shirts for everyone, and we make it a good, fun event the whole time as well.
Absolutely. So Josh, we've talked about the vintage. We've got 4th of July coming up. That's a big one, and we're getting back. Last year we had altered this event to kind of be a drive-in. But what are we doing this year?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, if you'd been around for a few years, we're back to our old style, where we have free food in the park from 4 to 6. We'll have those kids kind of bounce houses and water slides and stuff like that there during that same time frame. All over at the Cottonwood Kids Park. We'll shoot off the fireworks right around 8:45 p.m. Have Yavapai Broadcasting there doing some music, the VFW salute, different things like that. So it's a great time. Bring your family out to the kids park that night. It's Sunday, July 4th.
So it's going to be a good time. Now, you can't talk about 4th of July and not talk about fire prevention. We do live in a desert climate. Luckily, we had some rain last night. At least it rained on my truck. I could tell from the dirt poured all down the side of it. But make sure when you're dealing with fire, you're being super careful. You're following all those rules and those restrictions. And usually this time of year, we join with Rick Contreras, our fire marshal, and he gives us the whole rundown on everything we need to do with fire safety. But make sure you're being responsible. You're being aware of the situation, and you're never using any of those things illegally. We've got fire codes for a reason. Make sure we're paying attention to those things. So don't handle the fireworks at home. Let us handle the fireworks, and we'll put on the greatest show in Northern Arizona for you. Am I right?
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time being here today. Samantha, we appreciated having you on your first show.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can bring you back multiple times to talk about things. But if there's a question, if you want to connect with Parks and Recreation, you can hop online at cottonwoodaz.gov, go to the Parks and Recreation page. We have a Connect With Us tab right there that has all of our lovely pictures and faces and contact information, or just swing on by the Recreation Center and we'd love to chat with you. Any last words, you guys, before we sign off here today?
No, just I'm happy to be here.
Got it. Well, thank you guys. Thank Josh. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, FFI Broadcasting, and thank you, City of Cottonwood, and the community. I'm your host, Jack Teal, for this episode of Inside Cottonwood. Have a great day.